Anyone po? Anyone po from the group who wants to share your expectations? Sige po, don't be shy po, wag po tayong mahiya. Para po at least alam ko po kung ano po yung gusto nating malaman. Because this topic that we will be discussing is it has a very wide coverage, and it bears a great percentage in the scope of the licensure examination.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
representative from batch
Yes,
1.
batch one. Yes, one representative from. How many batch do we have, po, sir? How many batch do we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, and then from Santa Catalina College po, sir.
Okay po. Thank you very much.
Batch 1 maybe Mr. Nimrod.
Yes, sir, I'm here. Yes, sir, I'm here, sir.
Yes, Sir Nimrod. Any expectations po?
I only have one expectation. I think this will be served as a refresher since I want to have a motivation again for review.
Okay.
Because we know the fact that the exam was delayed, right? And we don't know when. That's why I really need to have motivation slash refresher, especially in Prof Ed.
Okay, thank you for that, Sir Nimrod. Okay, from batch 2, anyone po? Sige
Sir,
po.
okay.
Sige po, huwag po tayong mahiya.
Anyone from batch 2 or batch 3?
Alright, batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, batch 4. Sige po, para po medyo we start to loosen up. Yes, sige po. Go ahead.
I'm from the batch 3.
Yes, sir.
Sir. Expectation, sir, is I want to just learn more on this review and of course widen my ideas on this topic. Yun lang naman po, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for that, sir. For other batch po who wants to share their expectation. So it seems medyo naiya po tayo.
I think I have expectation.
Yes, go ahead, madam.
Everyone must refresh their knowledge and their studies, the stuck knowledge in their mind, and especially of what happened in our world today, at presently happening. And since it was always what you call this canceled.
Yes.
So we really need to refresh the studies and ano ba to, sir, yung ay my God, I forgot.
Sige po, don't hesitate po to talk in Filipino. Okay po yan. Wala pong problema. Sige po, go ahead.
That's all only. I think refresh is the most important. Refresh the knowledge and gain more knowledge and studies.
Okay. So I will be thank you for those who shares. Maraming salamat po. Okay, so mostly it's all about refresher. It would serve as a refresher course and a motivation, and that's a very good, a very powerful term to use, no? When taking an exam, motivation. We should be motivated to be able to nail what we are aiming for. So I will be sharing po a link, no? And I want you to click the link. Okay, this is what we will be using for our review. I hope you can see it on your chat box. Please do check your chat box. So I will be using Nearpad for our review. And please do give me a thumbs up if you're able to get in and you're able to see on your screen the nearpad. Yes, thank you very much. So the topic that I will be discussing to you is assessment and evaluation of learning. Okay, so the target competency of this scope of the professional licensure examination for teachers is to be able to apply principles in constructing and interpreting alternative or authentic forms of high quality assessment. As we all know, assessment is one very important aspect in the learning. Okay? More than instruction, it is assessment. Okay? More than instruction, it should be assessment. Assessment should always be considered first before we will be teaching or how are we going to have our instruction. So I hope I'm clear on your end. Hindi po tayo nagbabuffer and dire-diretso po tayo. You may give me a sign of thumbs up because I cannot see po your camera. So yes, maraming salamat. So our flow of review, when I give review in SPLE, is to analyze test items or questions. Okay po. And what you have stated a while ago is refresher course, and then discussion, lecture, then your drills. We will be having some drills. Okay. So we will be proceeding now to our first activity. Okay, I hope that would be clear on your end. Can you see on your end what is on the next slide? Can you see on your end po what is the next slide? Would you mind giving me a thumbs up? So I always start with what my learners want, no? What my learners want. So this is a way of assessment already, okay? So what you wish to learn from the review. So please feel free to write one word or a phrase or statement, no? Please feel free po. So just type in your answers and we will be able to see that when I'm admitting some of the participants. Techniques, okay, I can see techniques and strategies, okay, from Mr. Rachel, techniques from Mr. Matt, strategies and techniques and assessing, okay. So any other? Someone's okay. How to answer? Yes, that's great. No, Miss Marivic, that's a great one. Okay, theories and proponents. Okay, this one is a great answer. Knowing your background will really give me an idea on how I will be able to address. Since I'm a graduate of BS Psychology, I want to learn a deeper understanding of teaching. Okay, techniques in answering the prop ed. Okay, how to analyze question. Yes, that is actually what is our target for today. How to analyze question. Because if I'm going to discuss to you everything about assessment and evaluation, it will be looking like a lecture or discussion. Baka po mas lalo nating hindi maintindihan. Because I do believe that the best way to prepare ourselves in this professional licensure examination is to answer test questions, sample test questions. I hope you're trying to answer some of questions. No, at least I suggest 50 questions every day. No, when you are reviewing, 50 questions every day. I know medyo mabigat, no? Medyo mabigat yung 50 questions every day. Mabigat po ba? Mabigat po ba sa atin yung ano? Please feel free po to interact with me, no? Huwag po tayong mahiya. So, difference between variability and reliability. That's great. Okay. How to improve comprehension. Yes. Okay. How to answer those long questions with regards to time limit. Yes. That is the hardest part actually in the board exam. Mahaba yung tanong. Then we have just a certain time to answer that. Okay. So that is what actually I'm going to teach you this afternoon as we go on. So thank you for those who shared their answers and those who are sharing their answer also on the chat box. Maraming salamat. Okay. So you can see on your end, there are questions. Okay. You can see on your end that there are questions. So I would like you to please do answer those questions. Okay. Feel free to answer those questions. And we are going to discuss how it should be answered. Okay po? So feel free to answer. I will give you the first part of our review as to answer the sample questions. So I can see some are starting to answer. Feel free to answer po. Sir Ruel, Teacher A, is the sharing applicable to only the host or to the participant as well? Because I will be asking them to share po later on. So go ahead po. Miss, try to answer the set of questions. Because this will greatly help me to address your concerns. So I have 24 students who are starting to get into the Nearpad link. 24 professionals who are starting to get into the Nearpad link. So I can see some are doing great. Miss Juby, Miss Jelias, please do answer. Because this is the best way can't get through to the questions. Miss Ma'am Marivic, did you click the link po? I will be sharing the link again. So I can see, okay.
Sir Majid,
Yes, sir.
tawag niyo po ako.
Yes, sir. Teacher A, are the screen sharing po pwede sa participants? multiple sharing, pwede po ba sa kanila?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pwede po.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Because I will be asking each one of you to share your screen, no? Again, what I'm doing now to you is an assessment. Okay? So do not mind your scores, whatever your scores you will get on this part of our review, because this is how we are going to attack. Just double click, madam, the link. Just double click the link. And it will open on your browser. Sino po nagkakaroon ng problema sa ating link? Please do tell me, no? Because I can see some are not starting to answer yet. Okay. Oh, Junaira. So I can see that some are doing great, no?
So link tias. Uri na naman kita.
The link, sorry. Here's the link. So I'm expecting to have 54 to be answering. So I have 37. Maraming salamat po to those who are starting to get into the Nearpad link. Go ahead. So yes, Miss Maribik, you are in. You are in now. I can see your name now. Just double click. Just double click the link po. Yes, Miss Maribik, you're starting to answer. Okay. You're doing great, ma'am. So you can see some are doing great po. Yeah, Miss Kim, is Miss Kim around? Please do answer, madam. Try to answer po. So I can see some of you were able to answer. So no worries po pagka mali po, mas maganda po 'yan. That will just give us an idea. Okay. This is the password, okay, for the Nearpad po. Those who are asking the password, I have it on the chat box. Just to check your chat box po. Mhm. So I can see almost all is done. Miss Elise has to account. Okay. Okay, so medyo madami na po yung nakatapos. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes more. Then after that, I will be asking those who have a good scores to share their screen. Yes, sir. That's just 13 questions. Yes. Just click the link, dear professionals, and it will direct you right away to the Nearpad library. Okay, last 2 minutes. Then I would like to ask Sir Matt to share this, to share your screen po. Okay. Okay. So please click that. Okay. Do refresh.
Sir,
Sharing.
sir, I don't know how to use the share screen.
I see. Okay. Uh, Sige po. Just click the share screen button and it will give
Okay
you
po.
a window. Then you can share po. Choose to share. Okay? And,
Yan po, sir.
please stop sharing po muna yung isa. Sino po yung nag-share kanina? Si Miss Abigail. Miss Madam Abigail. Let me have. Okay. Miss M. Okay. That's it. So, we will use your screen. So we will go back to the questions. So we are going to review now the questions. Okay po?
Okay po.
Okay, so please go back to the first question. Babae pala si, akala ko lalaki. Sorry po.
Okay lang po.
Okay, sorry po. Yes. Okay. Miss Matt, would you mind reading the question? And
Yan. Who among the teachers described below is doing? Also the choices, sir.
yes, the choices.
A. Mrs. A, who is administering a test to the learners. B. Mr. A, who is counting the scores obtained by the learners in his test. C. Mrs. L, who is computing the final grades of the students after completing all the requirements. And D. Prof. R, who is planning for a remedial instruction after knowing that students perform poorly in her test.
Okay. So let's look at the question po. Okay? The question is all about assessment. Okay? It's all about assessment. So one thing that we need to know is to define those terms when we say assessment, no? Meron po kasing confusion when it comes to assessment, evaluation, measurement, and test, no? So hindi ko kasi kilala kung sino po yung mga education na graduate, no? So that's why I cannot call you. So when we say test, it is simply the tool. Okay po? It is simply the tool. So it's very easy to identify test. Please do mute microphone po. Okay lang po. Okay lang po. Salamat po. Okay. So, assessment. Okay. Test, again, is just a tool. Okay po. It is just a tool. Okay. That is used to how far is the knowledge of the learners. So, we use the test as a way of measuring. No? While assessment is when we now gather and organize a certain data. So yun na po yung ating tinatawag na assessment. So I always teach the technique. This is the technique that I can give you. I call it the law of elimination. Okay po? So the law of elimination. And what is the law of elimination? There will always be four choices. Okay? There will always be four choices. And the first thing is to eliminate the two questions that does not define or answer the stem of the question. Okay. So, Miss Edna, are you there, Miss Edna? So, I will be calling each one of you po, no? So that we have an interaction. Okay po? So, once I call you po, sana po you can unmute your microphone and you can interact with me. That is what I would like to request from you po. Would it be okay po ba sa group?
Opo.
Okay po.
Give me thumbs up po. Yan.
Yes.
Give me
Yes.
thumbs up
It will
po.
be okay.
Yeah, para po mas maganda po kasi yung nagkakaroon ng interaction, okay? So that
Yes.
I will be able
And
to
then to
assess
understand.
kung nagigets po natin o hindi. No? That's why I did not really
Thank
prepare a lecture, but more than a refresher. So I was just giving you some of the points on what to remember. So the first is test is just a tool. Okay po? Test is just a tool that we use in order to measure how far the learners learn what we are aiming for. So, in this question, what is the primary target? Ano po ba yung tinatanong nung question? Yung po yung una nating dapat alamin. Kahit gaano po kahaba yung stem of questions, we should know how to identify the main, okay, the main subject of the question. So, first of all, this question is telling that all of these are teachers, definitely. Okay? And all of them are doing something that is related to classroom practice. Now, the question focus on assessment. Miss, I hope lalaki to. Sir Gian? Lalaki ba?
Yes po.
Yes, Sir Gian. And I ask you po, are you an EdUp graduate or other course po?
Other course po.
Other course po. Okay. So, were you able to get correct on this type of question, sir?
Sir, ang answer ko po letter D po, dog.
Letter D, dog. Okay. So, again, so take note po ng mga sagot natin, no? So, malalaman niyo po kung tama yung sagot niyo. Nakikita niyo po ba kung tama ang sagot niyo o mali? Nakikita niyo po ba on your end?
Hindi po, sir.
Hindi niyo nakikita. Okay.
Hindi po, sir.
So, I will be telling you so that you will be able to assess why you get wrong. No? Okay po? So, it's better na hindi natin siya nakikita so that we will be able to focus on the explanation. Okay lang po ba?
Elimination time.
Yes, the
Yes,
law
sir.
the law of elimination. Okay? The law of elimination is simply eliminate the two that does not define assessment. Okay? So there are four choices. Right away, let's eliminate. So si Miss Matt, okay, her answer is letter A. Okay? And letter A is considered to be wrong. Okay? It's considered to be wrong. Bakit kaya siya naging wrong? Okay. Bakit kaya siya naging wrong? That is the question that we will be answering. First, please do write on your notes, the law of elimination eliminates two that does not answer the question. Okay? So leave the two choices that definitely would be a possible answer. And this is the tricky part of answers in licensure examination. And I always told this to SPLE when I'm giving a review. We always, the two that is left as the possible answers are what we call the general and specific. Okay? The general and specific. Dito po tayo yung nag-iisip tayo na parang etong tanong na to ay bahagi lang ng tanong na to. Have you experienced that when you're answering questions? That this part of these choices is also a part of, is just a part of these other choices. So dito tayo dapat maging concerned on how are we going to answer it. Okay? So what is an assessment? What is an assessment? Can anyone tell me your understanding of assessment? Let me ask Miss Eliza. Miss
To know the
Eliza,
weakness and
Assessment is the process on how we're going to assess the child's capability, strength, and weaknesses based on their understanding and knowledge about the subject.
okay, that's great. Okay, that's great. How about Miss Margie? Para sa iyo po, ano po ang assessment? Sige po. Para po alam ko na nandyan kayo. Just kidding po. Para po nagkakaroon tayo ng interaction, mas lalo po nating napaprocess. No? We're able to listen to the interpretations of our fellow classmates or professionals. Miss Margie, para po sa inyo, ano po ang assessment?
Assessment is knowing what is the capability of the pupil.
Okay. So, I will give you the simple definition of assessment, and I hope you can write it down. No, the assessment is used to be able to give judgment or decision making. It would be the basis, okay, of making a decision or judgment. If you're going to go on with your instructions or not. So that is the work of assessment. Okay po? That's why we give an assessment before, during, and after. Okay? We give an assessment before, during, and after. So what I'm doing to you now is a discussion at the same time is a type of an assessment. I am discussing and I am asking you to interact with me so that I will be able to know up to what particular level is your understanding of assessment. So again, the simple way to understand assessment, it is a basis for making decisions or judgment. Okay. Balikan po natin ngayon yung ating tanong. Saan po sa choices na yan ang magsasabi sa atin that this would be a basis for creating a judgment or decision making? Ano po yung maiiwang dalawa? Miss Joyce, ano po yung maiiwang dalawa? Again, assessment is a basis for making a decision or judgment. So ano po yung maiiwang dalawa? Miss Joyce.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon po. Sige po.
I think, sir, yung may iwan dyan, sir, is yung BNC, sir.
BNC.
Letter C.
BN?
Letter C po. BNC.
BNC. Okay, BNC. Okay. So let us look at the choices B and C. So definitely A would not be an answer. By the simple definition of assessment, it is a basis of judgment or decision making. Letter is just on the process yet, no? Nagbibigay pa lang siya ng test. So wala pang magiging basihan ng kanyang judgment or decision. So definitely we eliminate letter A. I hope that would be clear to your end. Then another thing that we will eliminate is, ano po kayang eliminate natin? So tinanggal na natin si A.
I think B.
B.
D.
Yes, Miss Eri Jane.
Letter C, sir. Sir. Letter C po, sir. Letter C.
Letter C po yung tatanggalin natin. Letter C. Miss Sir Joe. Sir Joe? Yes.
No,
Bakit?
sir. For me, the final answer is C.
Final answer is C. Yes.
I eliminate letter B.
Letter D.
Letter D. Oh.
Letter D, sir. Letter D.
Letter D po yung eliminate natin. Yes. Let's
Yes,
eliminate. Let's eliminate. Oh. Ang process po natin is law of elimination. Are we clear po?
Yes po,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Law of elimination po tayo, ha?
Process of elimination.
Yes, law of elimination po tayo. before we can weigh the final answer. So, eliminate muna natin yung dalawa na hindi sasagot doon sa tanong. So, A, automatic, is eliminated. The other one to be eliminated is letter D. Okay? Letter D is the other one to be eliminated. Why? Why it would be eliminated? Because letter D is simply an evaluation. You are now evaluating. Okay? Evaluation na po siya. Okay? Professor R was planning for a remedial instruction after knowing that students perform poorly in her test. So you are now able to interpret the result of the scores you have taken.
Sir,
Okay. Yes, Miss.
can I ask a question?
Yes, you may. You may. Go ahead.
What is the difference between evaluation and assessment?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Okay. When we say evaluation, it's basically your final judgment. Okay? It is now your final judgment or interpretation of what you have obtained after conducting the test, after getting all the data. So, yun po ang evaluation. Okay po? Is that clear to you, Ma'am Carissa? Ma'am
Thank you, sir.
Krisa? Okay? Krisa. So, what do we mean by that? Before we can have a judgment, we need to have first an assessment. It's like when we are teaching. Pag teacher po tayo, no? How would we know that our learners understand already our topic so that we can move on to the next topic, di ba? And why we need to give a reteaching. So I think the education people can relate to that. Okay po, that's why we say assessment is important more than the instruction. Yun po ang pinaka-ano natin. Sa dami po ng learning, dami ng kung ano-anong nadi-discuss, hindi na po natin natatarget kung ano talaga yung expected learning na kailangan. Okay po? So evaluation, you are now interpreting already. You interpret. So I hope that would be clear to you. So evaluation is simply your interpretation, your analysis of what you have obtained from your data. Are we clear po? Are we clear po?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes po, sir.
So, the final answer for here is, tama po yung iniwan natin, B and C. Okay? So, Mr. A is still counting. Okay? He is still counting. He is still of what? He is still getting all. Hindi pa siya gumagawa ng kanyang judgment. Wala pang clear understanding on how the entire population performed on the given assessment. So the correct answer to this question is letter C. Okay? So sino po yung nakakuha ng letter C? So pag nakuha po natin yung letter C, congratulations. So Miss Flores were able to get letter C. Miss Flores, are you an education graduate po? Miss Flores? Hello po. Hello po. Ay, wala. Okay, may I request Sir Albert Botalan to share screen for the next question. So, ganun po tayo ganun po pag nagbibigay ng review, I want the interaction po of the one that is reviewing. Kasi ayoko po yung ako lang yung magsasalita tapos yun, mahirap po yung ganun eh. No? So, let's have an interaction. I hope that would be okay po sa inyong lahat. So, Sir Albert, sige po, paki-share po yung ating screen. You just click the green button, share screen, and just choose your window kung nasan po yung question. Yan. Would it be possible? to you. Ayan, okay. Thank you, sir. Ayan. Okay. So kindly just refresh that and go back to question number 2. Okay, refresh and go back to question number 2. And Miss Marivic, for question number 3, you will be the one to share your screen. Okay. Sige po, paki-refresh nyo lang po yan. Okay, Miss Matt, I will request you again. Miss Matt. Thank you po. Miss Matt. Thank you, Sir Albert. Miss Matt,
Sir.
please do share again for question number 2.
Sige po.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Miss Maria Teresa. Okay. Okay.
Okay na po, sir.
Ayan. So, Sir Albert, would you mind reading the question po? Sir Albert? Hello po. Sir John John. Sir John, would you mind reading the question?
Okay po, sir.
Okay, thank you very much po. Go ahead, sir.
Who among the teachers below perform a diagnostic assessment?
Okay. So again, we will apply the law of elimination. Again, so let us look at the question. So we are presented with the question diagnostic assessment. Okay. So diagnostic is from the root word diagnose. No? Diagnose. So when we say diagnose, we want to know the strengths and the weakness. Okay, of our learners. The strengths and the weaknesses of our learners. Okay. So let us have the law of elimination. So knowing that diagnostic test or diagnostic assessment assess the weaknesses and strengths of our learners, what would be the first choices or options that we are going to eliminate?
Letter D.
Who among the teachers below perform diagnostic assessment?
Yes, Miss Hanipa?
Sir,
Sige, Miss Hanipa. Sige po, Miss Hanipa.
Assessment.
Diagnostic.
Kailan, sir, binabasa ko pa po.
Sige po, go ahead. No problem. So this is the technique po na maituturo ko sa inyo, the law of elimination. This is the most helpful tips because there are always be 4 options. So analyzing the questions will help us to eliminate. Okay, to eliminate 2 options that is not needed para mas madali po yung pag-analyze natin.
Yes, sir. For me, sir, letter D.
Letter D would be the first one to be eliminated.
Yes,
answer po. Answer ko po, sir, letter D.
The answer is letter D. For
D.
the
It was diagnostic. So
diagnostic.
Diagnostic assessment. So
Letter D po,
will
sir.
be, the answer is letter D. No need to eliminate letter D because we are only speaking about the.
Okay. Why do you think so, Miss Marivic? Letter D is the final answer. Sige po.
Third quiz. The keyword is diagnostic assessment, and then so The answer D is because Mr. C who gave a short quiz after discussing strategies of determining the program of learning means he is diagnosing the weaknesses and strengths of the student.
Okay. So actually, letter D is one of the options to be left, but it is not the answer.
I
Okay.
think A is the correct answer.
Okay. Diagnostic again is to be able to know the strengths and the weaknesses of our learners. It's like when you go to the doctor, diagnose. Diba? Bago sabihin ng doctor kung anong meron ka, tinatanong ka niya muna, anong nararamdaman mo?
Letter C, sir.
Okay?
Sir,
The answer.
I think, sir,
Letter A, sir.
The
Letter
correct
B, sir.
answer, the correct
Letter
answer
B.
is
Letter A.
Letter B, sir.
Letter A.
Letter B.
Sige po. Okay.
sir.
Law of elimination muna tayo. Law of elimination. Okay?
First
Law of
elimination.
elimination muna tayo.
Letter C,
We
eliminate.
need to justify why we eliminate para malaman po ng ating kasama. Okay po ba 'yon? Let's justify bakit po natin siya in-eliminate. Let us not say, sir, letter C should be eliminated. There should always be why. Bakit? Okay po. Bakit natin siya eliminate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I like the interaction of the group. Maganda po 'yan. Yes, Sir Ryan. Go
Because
ahead.
they are chorus.
Go ahead.
We will eliminate the A and D.
We will eliminate the A and B.
Yes, sir.
Why is
Because
it?
here, sir, is letter B because the Mr. S who asked question when the discussion is going on to know who among his students understood what he was trying to emphasize. Because when we say diagnostic, sir, we will assess the students, her weakness and
Letter C is the answer.
strength.
Okay.
Strengthness.
Okay. Sige po. That's a good one.
Yes, sir. That's why my
The
answer,
answer, sir, is letter B.
The answer is letter B. Yes, Sir Janjan. Why letter B?
I think, sir, it is letter B because when you are doing an diagnostic, you are simply doing or asking questions to your students or pupils. That's my idea, sir.
Okay, that's great. So, letter B. Okay, let's focus on letter B. Mr. S who asked question when the discussion is going on. The discussion is going on. To know who among the students understood what he was trying to emphasize.
I think B is during. During.
B is an assessment, but it is not diagnostic.
Yes.
Yes.
Letter C. Letter
Okay.
C is the answer.
Yung
Letter C.
Letter B.
Chorus again.
Letter B.
Letter C.
Letter
Letter
B.
C.
Letter B po is an assessment.
One by one.
One by one po. Letter B is an
One by one,
assessment.
no chorus.
All of them is actually an assessment.
It is
Okay?
either before
All of
during.
them is actually an assessment.
For and during, yeah.
Okay po?
Before, during,
Letter
after.
E.
Again, balikan po natin yung dinefine ko kanina na simple tatandaan natin. Ano po bang assessment? Basis for judgment
Yes.
or decision. Okay?
Diagnostic kasi siya kaya before.
Diagnostic before.
Bago mo pa i-assess.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes. Kaya the correct answer, sir, is letter A.
Letter A.
The correct answer is letter A.
Letter A is the correct answer.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Letter A.
Everyone is confused. Wait,
Yes, sir.
everyone.
Because
Letter A
before.
is yes.
Because before the instruction, sir. Before the
Yes.
instruction.
Let's look. Kaya po sinasabi natin, lahat po sila is assessment. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Opo.
sir.
Ayan. So, tingnan po natin yung sentence. Sipagan po natin yung pagbasa doon sa statement or sa situation.
Oh my
Ah,
God.
placement ata yung ano, letter C.
Letter C is
It's a
placement test.
placement
Sabi ko na.
assessment. Yes. Oh, that's why it's oral.
Okay? Letters, ayan, ang gagaling naman pala.
Kasi
Oh.
letter, yung keyword kasi sa letter C is readiness. Kaya,
Kaya nga,
Yes,
sir, we
like
need to know the
readiness.
correct.
Yes, that's it. Now, this is one thing, na, hindi ko naman po sasabihin kong mali, but this is one thing that we should remove from ourselves. No? This can be a strength, but this can also be a cause of confusion. Ano po ba yun? Yung pag... yung pagtanda...
nakaka-confuse kasi yung letter C.
yung pagtanda po natin, okay, yung pagtanda po natin ng keywords. Let's mute po our microphone.
Or during.
Let's mute our microphone. Salamat po. Okay. So, remembering keywords can be a good strength. Okay? But what we need to know about the keyword is how it is being used. Katulad po nung kanina, sabi natin, the keyword that we remember for placement is readiness. Yan. Okay. Tama po. Letter C is placement. Okay? Because we are not identifying the strengths or weakness. We're trying to put them if they are qualified on that particular. If they are ready to be on that particular. Maliwanag po. Then, on letter B, yung ano natin, when the discussion is going on. The discussion is going on. As what we're doing now. We are actually discussing. We are now actually analyzing. So, we are actually having an assessment during. Okay, during the instruction. Maliwanag po. Okay, so that is a formative assessment. Are we clear? That's a formative assessment because the teacher is asking a question to be able to weigh kung naintindihan ba ng bata. So the word there is going on. So that is the same with what we say during. Are we clear po? Okay, yes. During. Going on, during. Okay po ba tayo? Yan, yes. Nagkakaroon na po tayo ng idea, unti-unti, ano?
Okay, thank you po.
Yan. Then let's have letter D. Mr. C who give a short quiz after discussing thoroughly the lesson. So after thoroughly discussing naman siya. So what is that? After. Summative. It is now summative assessment.
Assessment of.
Okay, it is now a summative.
Assessment.
Okay, it is now summative. Because it is after discussing thoroughly, we're talking now the entire. Okay, because of the word program.
Thoroughly entire the program. Okay.
Okay.
So,
the program of learning.
Yes.
Yan. Ito po yung minsang ito po yung minsan natin talaga nagiging tricky yung mga questions because of the options. Okay? So kaya po ang natin, kaya nga sinabi ko sa umpisa, sanayin po natin ang sarili nating sumagot ng 50 questions. Yan. Why? Why we need to answer 50 questions? It is not because we need to answer that. That is because to be able to identify the pattern. Okay, what are the different principles within the assessment of learning na laging itinatanong? So mostly, this is all about how we apply the different types of assessment. When we are going to call it a formative assessment, when are we going to call it a summative assessment, when are we going to call it a placement or a diagnostic. I hope medyo nakakatulong na po ako ng konti. Okay? sa ating ano. Ito po yung
Yes, very.
ano natin,
Thank you
no?
so much.
Yung trick natin. That's why I always telling when I'm giving a review, the law of elimination. Kahit po sa mga estudyante ko, okay, I always tell
Thank
them
you, sir. Very
to
clear.
eliminate. Okay? It's like in math, no? Lahat po tayo nakakapag-solve ng math, tama? Pag numbers. Yes? Pero pagdating sa problem solving na, andun na yung tricky part. Kaya natin mag-solve by numbers, by formula. Pero pag nilagay na sa problem, wala na. It's the same thing with board exam. Board exam question is situational. You need to put yourself, okay, ito po yung ano natin, you need to put yourself to that question by applying what have you learned from your class or from your, if you're education graduate or from what you have read if you are not an education graduate. Are we clear po? Because these are just principles. And these principles are being applied into situations. On how we are going to weigh onto what particular situations this kind of principle is applied. Lalo na po pagdating na ng mga isim-isim, nakakalito. Alam niyo po ba yung mga isim? Idealism, naturalism, yan, nakakalito na. Ang haba ng definition, hindi natin maintindihan. We just need to get the main core. Okay po? Okay, let's have Miss Marivic. Would you mind sharing question number 3? Yan. So, yes. Would you mind reading it as well? Miss Marivic, you're muted po.
Which of these will you likely do if you are assessing for learning? Letter A, assessing the strengths and weaknesses of the learners. B, reporting to parents the performance of the child. C, recommending new policies and grading the learners. D, giving grades to learners.
Okay.
So elimination time.
Elimination. Analyze muna tayo. Analyze
Yes,
muna.
let's analyze
Okay.
the
So let's
question.
analyze. Miss Edlin, are you there? Miss Edlin po? Would you mind to tell to the group what is the main subject of the question? Ano po yung pinaka-tinatanong ng question?
In question is
Miss Edlin? So I'm trying to call each one of you po, no? Para po alam ko na magkasama po tayo. Okay? Yan. Mas maganda po kasi nag-i-interact tayo, no? Yes, Miss Edlin? Ma'am Edlin? Miss Miriam. Si Miss Miriam. Miss Miriam. What is the primary stem of the question? Ano yung pinaka?
Assessing for learning.
Okay, assessing for learning. Okay po. So we're talking about the assessing for learning. Okay. So let us look. Let's eliminate. What would be the first one to be eliminated and why? Miss Jessica. Miss Jessica. Yes, Miss Princess. Miss Princess. Miss Princess.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam. Ma'am.
Letter C po para sa akin.
Letter C. Why po?
Kasi sir, for me, hindi po siya kasama sa... Kasi po, di ba sir, pag sinabing assessing, nag-administer ng before, during, and after. Kasi ito
Yes.
pong parang ano na siya, sir, Di na po siya kasali dun sa assessment kasi nagre-recommend siya ng new policies.
So, okay. So, saan po na siya babagsak? Saan na po siya babagsak?
Sa ano, sir? Sa assessment as? Yung for teachers, ano na po siya, hindi na po siya kasali sa ano ng mga students.
Okay. So, tatanggalin po natin. Okay, thank you for that, ma'am, no? How about
Yes,
Miss Beverly?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening po.
I
So,
think letter
key,
D, sir.
letter D. Okay.
I know.
So, why letter D po?
Giving grades to learners.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
Giving grades to learners is assessment. Di po ba? Assessment po 'yan, no? But
Yes, sir.
we
Yes,
think that
sir.
is not for learning. Di ba? What is for learning? What is the keyword when we say assessing for learning?
Before.
When we say assessing for learning before.
Before the instruction, sir.
Okay. Yes,
Before the instruction.
Before the instruction. Okay. Instruction. So which of these options define that it is done before the instruction?
Letter A, sir.
Letter A, sir.
Letter A.
Letter A is the answer.
That is definitely letter A. Okay?
Yes.
Diagnostic test.
Okay, yes. That's it. Diagnostic test is an example of that. Are we clear po?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, let's proceed now. I hope. Let us apply the law of elimination po, no? Para we will be left with the two options and we are going to weigh. Ito po kasi yung yung next tip na bibigay ko sa inyo. After we eliminate and we leave the two possible answers, we need to weigh them. We call it leveling or leverage. Nile-level natin kung gaano ka lapit yung kanilang connection, yung connection ng sagot doon sa tanong. Okay? All of the two possible options are always connected to the stem of the question. But the question is how close it is to be able to answer that question. So yung po yung next nating tip na leveling or leverage. We are now starting to weigh. Okay? Hindi natin kagad lang nakita natin yung keywords. Ito na yung sagot. Then afterwards, pag nag-review tayo, yun. That's why I'm advising when you take the board exam, do not answer right away on your answer sheet. Pwede nyo pong sulatan. No? Pwede nyo sulatan yung papel. Okay? Pwede nyo sulatan yung papel. Pwede kayong gumamit ng underline and circle. Okay, when do we use the underline? Do you know about this technique po? Using the underline and circle?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. When do we use underline? What are we underlining when we read the question?
Keywords.
What we are underlining is
Keyword po.
We underline the stem in the question.
yes, the stem of the question, not the keyword.
The stem.
The stem of the question. Very good, Sir Daryl. Mukhang edu graduate si Sir Daryl, ah.
Earning units po.
Earning units. Okay. So, we use underline po sa stem of question. Let us not use always underline. Okay? Let us use only underline for the stem of question. Kahit gaano po kahaba yung tanong, use the underline to identify ano ba talaga tinatanong mo. Why? Because the question itself will provide you the answer. I'm telling you. The question itself will provide you the answer. Kapag nakita natin at natimbang natin yung pinaka-tinatanong. Then circle is used for keywords. Okay? Again, underline is used for the stem of the question. What is primarily being asked by the question. Sometimes mahaba yung tanong kasi may mga paliwanag pa.
Opo.
Okay? Pangalawa, saan ginagamit ang underline? Condition. Okay? Some of the questions in board exam sets conditions or what we call parameters. Okay? They set parameters to define what is really being asked by the question. Because there are some, katulad ng tinatanong kanina nung isang do sa ating collaboration board about validity and variability. Because these two are somehow the same. But there is a certain boundaries or parameters kung kailan mo tatawagin validity, kailan mo tatawagin variability. Maliwanag po. So, kaya doon po yung gamit ng underline. Stem of the question, condition set. Circle is only used for keywords. Are we clear po? Even in the options, you can use underline for conditions. Katulad po nung kaninang questions natin about assessment. Natatandaan niyo po ba yung kanina natin? That's question number 2. Lahat sila assessment. Formative, summative, placement. Okay? So, naglilito tayo because nakita natin, so may ano doon, going on. So, going on, during. So, that's formative. And know how to find words that replaces those theories na nababasa natin. For example, ito yung sinasabi nila kanina, going on is another term for during. Maliwanag po. So, natutuwa ako kasi nakikita ko na, okay. They were able to identify how the sentences are being rephrased. At ito po yung pinaka-importante. Let us not basically copy or let's not have it in toto. Kasi hindi po ganun yung paggawa ng tanong sa board exam. Hindi siya in toto na parang tanong sa classroom. Na identify na tatanggalan lang ng konting words tapos hindi. Pinapaikot po siya. To be able to measure how far we understand this particular topic. I hope that is clear to you po. Okay, so underline and circle. Okay po? Okay po?
Yes. Yes po.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
yes.
so the answer here is letter A.
A.
As I can see, maraming tumama. Okay.
Yes.
So, assessing 4, that is before instruction. Okay. Question number 4. Let's proceed to question number 4. Yan. Let me ask, is this ma'am or sir? Bing? Yes?
Yes, sir. Good evening po.
Good evening po. Ma'am, can you read the question po?
If I have to use the most authentic method of assessment, which of these procedures should I consider? Ano bang sagot ko?
Ano po sagot ko? Okay.
Open ko lang po yung earpod ko.
It's okay po. No worries po. We will apply law of elimination. Okay. So what is the
elimination muna?
Okay, what is the stem of the question?
Most authentic method.
Authentic. Okay. So authentic method of assessment. Okay. So there are 3 types of assessment method. Okay. Are we aware of this? Alam po ba natin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have the, yes, Miss Princess, would you mind sharing it to the group?
Yes, sir. Traditional, authentic, and alternative.
Yes, okay. So, napakadali. Traditional. Oh, alam natin yung ibig sabihin ng traditional, no? Pinaglumaan na ng panahon. Okay. So, the most common, that is the pen and paper test. Okay. Alternative. Ano naman yung tatandaan natin sa alternative? Kasi yung alternative, eto pa, yung alternative po at ang authentic assessment is somehow related when we talk about it, when we give examples of alternative assessment.
Portfolio yata yun, sir, pag ano?
Dahil pumapasok po doon dahil pumapasok po doon o din po yung tinatawag nating authentic assessment. So tama po,
Sir,
Miss
yung
Miriam.
10 and paper test kasi siya, sir, ano siya eh? Written test.
Yes. Okay. So,
alternative
again,
response po
tandaan po
ata,
natin,
sir.
tatlo, no? As given by Miss Princess. Traditional, lumang-luma. Okay, traditional. Okay? Alternative, from the word alternative. From the word alternative.
Yung alternative
Other tool.
Other way. Okay, other way. Or alternate way of assessing. Then we have authentic. Yan. So, pagdating po dito, etong traditional, wala tayong problema. Okay po? Napakasimple. Alternative at authentic, medyo dito nagkakaroon ng confusions. That's why we need to have a clear understanding of their parameters. So according to Miss Miriam, an example of alternative is portfolio. Yan, no? Is portfolio. And that is true. That can be an example of an alternative assessment. Okay? Portfolio. Now, ba't ba nakakalito yung authentic at alternative? Ano ba dapat ang authentic?
It is more on performance-based assessment, sir.
Parang ano, sir, parang
ayun,
parang
binigay na ni Miss Miriam yung sagot.
Yung mga task.
Binigay na ni Miss Miriam yung sagot. Performance-based assessment. Ayun. Okay.
True action po.
Ano po ba yung authentic? Tandaan po natin pag authentic. Real life situation.
Yes.
Real life situation.
Demonstration.
Okay. It's applying what you learn.
Again, chorus.
Oh, yan. Yeah.
One by one.
One by one. Okay, sige po. It's good. It's good. Okay lang naman po sa akin, pero it's better if we can have it one by one, no? So, sinagot na po ni Miss Miriam eh. Sinabi niya na eh. Authentic is performance-based assessment. Yun yung final answer, no? That's why, in the K-12, we have the performance task. No? We have the performance task. Or we have the performance-based test sa MAPE. Hindi na siya paper and pen na lang. Wala nang
hindi ka namimigay
wala na rin yung let's mute po. Wala na rin yung project. Okay? Wala na rin po yung project. Even in science, wala nang tinatawag na project, kundi investigatory project na. Why? Because you want to apply what you learn into a particular real-life situation. Okay? So dito po pumapasok, tandaan po natin, pag authentic, it has something to do with real-life situation. Okay? Real-life situation. For example, when you're talking about motion sa science, paano mo ngayon malalaman na naintindihan ng bata ang motion? Would you be giving a problem-solving type of assessment? Yes, makakapag-solve yan. But if you're going to apply it into real life, how would you make a performance task or performance-based assessment about motion?
Simulation.
Yes, that's it. Simulation. Yan. So that's another keyword. It simulates real-life situation. Maliwanag po. Ang portfolio, pwede rin siyang bumagsak na authentic assessment. Why? Because it is a collection of what you are doing. It is assessing your skills.
Collection of work.
Yes, it assess as how you progress. Ito yung mali sa gamit ng portfolio minsan eh. Lagay lang nalagay tayo doon sa portfolio. Hindi natin nakikita na pinapakita ng portfolio kung tayo ba ay nag-i-improve from this certain point to this point. Yun po yung kaya napaka-ano ng portfolio as a greatest source of assessment. Kaya napaka-matrabaho din niya. Kasi gusto niyang ipakita kung talaga bang am I improving or I'm not improving. Are we clear po? Its portfolio is more of skills. Okay? It's more of your output.
What kind of portfolio po, sir?
Portfolio is mostly about tangible output. Okay, we don't usually, ito kasi nga natin, sometimes ang portfolio nilalagay natin yung mga test paper or quizzes.
Or
No?
different
Diba? It should be different mediums. Different mediums ang nilalagay sa portfolio. Kasi nakikita mo yung progress mo, yung skills mo. For example, when you apply for a job, for example, you are an architect, magbibigay ka ba ng isang design lang? Why you give a lot of design? To show that you are having changes as time goes by in how you create your design. Sumasabay ka sa pagtakbo o pag-inog ng pagbabago sa design when we talk about architecture. Ngayon, ano ng architecture? More on minimalist. Are we clear po? So that is the primary work of portfolio. Kaya minsan, maganda yung portfolio, pero pag hindi natin nagamit ng tama, medyo nagiging ano lang siya, collection lang. Okay po ba? Okay po? Are we clear po?
Yes, sir.
So what to remember?
Yes.
Authentic, real life. Okay, real life. Okay, next, question number 5. Okay, let's move on to question number 5. I want someone to share naman para at least nagagamit natin yung ano, no? Miss Janaira, would you mind sharing? Thank you, Miss Matt. Si Miss Janaira naman. Si Sir Albert nakapag-share na rin. Para po alam ko, kasi lahat po yung camera natin naka-close. So, I will not be asking you to open your camera. I will just be asking your presence na nandyan po kayo. Okay po? So, the answer, we are not able to answer number 4. Okay, the answer for 4 is performance-based. Okay, performance-based assessment. Okay, that is the authentic. Okay, sorry for that. I thought na ano na po natin yun. Okay, can I have Miss Abigail to share the screen? Possible or not possible? Yes, yun. Okay, thank you. Okay. So let's have question number 5. Okay. Apply po natin yung law of elimination. Let us not jump right away para po ma-weigh natin. Let's wait. Okay lang po ba? Okay lang po ba? Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you for that. Miss Beverly, would you mind reading po? Miss
Yes,
Beverly.
sir.
Yes,
Yes.
would you mind reading po?
Number 5. After
Yes.
doing the exercise on verbs, Miss B gave a short quiz to find out how well the learners understood the lesson. What type of assessment was done? A. Diagnostic assessment. B. Formative assessment. C. Placement assessment. D. Summative assessment.
Okay. So let us identify again the stem of the question. Okay. The stem of the question and the parameter set by the question. Miss Juby. Miss Juby.
The stem.
I think
The stem of the question.
after doing the exercise,
After.
what?
How will the
After
learners
doing the
understood
exercise.
the lessons?
Okay, let's identify the stem of the question. We will not interpret po. When we say identify, we will base our answer from the question itself. Then when I say, may I ask to mute po muna. Ganito po. When I ask you to identify the stem of the question, you will be referring to the question itself. When I ask you to interpret the stem of the question, that is how you understand it. Okay? So that I will be able to gauge if you are on that level of interpretation. Kasi dito po tayo nagkakaiba. We can identify the stem of the question, but somehow sa dami ng binabasa natin, nalilito na tayo, ano ba talaga, paano ko ba i-interpret to? Ito yung unang pumasok sa isip ko, ito ang interpretation ko. Are we clear po? Okay? So, when I say identify, kunin po natin mismo doon sa tanong. Then, when we say interpret the stem of the question, then that's the time you will tell me how. Okay? And why you choose that as the stem of the question. So, who wants to try it? Yes, Miss Bing. Yan, si Miss Bing. Yan, nakatutok si Miss Bing. Sige po, Miss Bing. Go ahead. Sige po. Huwag tayo maya. Sige po.
Ayan, sir. The keyword is after doing the exercise. So, law of elimination is formative. No. Diagnostic assessment. Tama
Okay.
ba?
So, after doing the exercise on verbs, Miss B gave a short quiz to find out how well the learners understood the lesson. What type of assessment was done?
Eliminate.
So, what is the stem of the question?
Eliminate
How will the learners understand?
Yes, sir, Darrell?
I think the stem is ano po, sir? To find out how well the learners understood the lesson.
Yes, find out how well the learners understood the lesson.
And the keyword is
And
after
what is the condition set or the keywords?
after doing exercise.
Okay, after doing an exercise. So let's proceed now to elimination. Ayun, nag-eliminate na si Miss Bing. Unang in-eliminate natin is diagnostic. Definitely, on the process na siya of teaching. Are we clear? It is not before the instruction. It is on the process of teaching already. So diagnostic is removed already. Okay? What would be the next to be removed?
Placement.
Placement. Yes.
Placement.
We will be removing placement. Why we will be removing placement, Sir Francis? Why we will be removing placement?
Kasi sir, hindi naman siya tinatanong about yung place yung about placement, sir. Kasi yung summative at saka formative, ibig sabihin after. But para sa akin, yung summative kasi, yung mga final test exam, yun yung mga ganun. Tsaka
Okay
yung
po.
mga end of the lesson.
So tatanggalin po natin yung
exam.
yes, thank you po. Tatanggatin po natin yung diagnostic at saka placement. Bakit po diagnostic at saka placement? Because both of this is what? Assessment for learning. Okay? Diagnostic and placement is assessment for learning. Ano po ibig sabihin? Prior or before the instruction. Now, the question already set the condition. Anong condition? After doing an exercise on the verb, gusto niya pang makita kung gaano talaga natuto ang bata. Okay? So, tama yung tinanggal natin. So, may iwan po yung dalawa. That is formative and summative. At sabi po ni Sir Francis, para po sa akin, pag sinabing summative, after na. No? After na, pag sinabing summative. So, let us weigh now. Iniwan na natin yung formative at iniwan na natin yung summative. So,
Summative.
ano kaya ang tamang sagot?
Yung summative po kasi para siyang exam.
Formative. Formative.
Yes. Formative. Formative siya. Bakit po formative siya?
Sir D.
Bakit formative po siya? Formative po yung tamang sagot ha. Formative po yung tamang sagot.
Doing the exercise.
Kasi po, ang formative is during and often more than once.
Okay.
Parang short quiz.
Sabi ni Sir Gian, short quiz. Oo, yun yung ano natin. Kasi pag sinabing summative, buwan. Malaki na, buwan. No? Summative. Summative means what? Summary. Summary, no? Summary. Yan, summary na po siya, summary. Okay. Galing, magagaling. So, again, diagnostic, placement, tatanggalin mo. Bakit? This is before or prior the instruction. Ang sabi ng tanong, nagtuturo na siya. Nagbigay siya ng isang exercise. Gusto niya pang makita pa gaano kalalim yung pangunawa ng mga bata. So, ano yung ginagawa niya? Magbibigay ba siya ng formative o ng summative? So, sometimes malilito tayo. Sasagutin natin dyan is summative kasi ang keywords na tinandaan natin is after. Tama ba ako? Yun yung keywords na tinandaan natin. After. Yan. Hindi natin na it is just a short quiz after an exercise. Maliwanag po. It is not at the end of the lesson, but it is within the lesson. Take note, assessment is done during and after. Even in the middle, that is an assessment. More assessment, more ways to be able to tell na naintindihan ng bata. Okay po ba? So sabi nga ni Sir Gian, short quiz. Yan. Kasi nga tatandaan natin yung summative, summary. Sabi, narinig ko nga, 1 to 50. Yan, 1 to 50 summative. Pag 1 to 25, pag 1 to 25, di ba natin pwedeng tawaging summative pa rin?
Pwede na po.
Pwede na po.
Wag niyo pong tatandaan ng Wag yung tatandaan ng numbers. Okay? Wag yung pong tatandaan ng numbers. So, kaya po inaano ko yan, pini-emphasize ko talaga. Let us understand how to put the keywords on the situation. So, katulad nito, may sinet na siyang condition that the short quiz is given after an exercises. So, it is an assessment and an assessment. Formative. Are we clear po? Can you please give me a thumbs up if that is clear? Yes, please give me a thumbs up. Yan. When I ask you to give me a thumbs up, ano pong ginagawa ko sa inyo?
Formative assessment.
Formative assessment. Yan. So, kasi gusto kong makita kung talagang nagigets po ba natin. Wag po kayong mayang magganon. Don't worry po. No worries. Okay lang po yun. Okay?
Excuse me po, sir.
Yes.
Di ba po, sir, sa formative, sir, minsan, sir, reported lang siya but not graded?
Yes. Yes. Formative can be considered to be graded and ungraded. Okay po? Formative can be considered to be graded and ungraded. Pero hindi mo sasabihin sa bata. Okay?
Just a basis of...
Yes, hindi mo sasabihin sa bata na hindi graded yan. So, walang validity ang gagawin mo. Kasi hindi talaga lalaroin lang ng bata yan. Okay? Because we can experience that dito po sa amin, no? Yung mga bata namin medyo grade conscious. Pag nagbigay ka ng task, tatanungin talaga nila, "Sir, is this graded?" Yan. Sasabihin talaga, tatanungin nila, vocal yung mga bata po dito sa amin. Ewan ko sa Pilipinas, no? During our time, di naman tayo ganun po, no? Na tinatanong natin yung teacher natin.
Yung mga pilot section, sir, alam na nila.
Ay, alam na?
Tinatanong kami. Opo, ma'am, formative test po ba ito or...
Wow! How do you answer that? How do you answer that,
Sinasabi
ma'am?
ko, sir, na graded. Sinasabi ko pong graded, kahit na formative.
Yun. Kasi sa amin po talaga, vocal talaga ang bata dito sa amin. Talagang tinatanong. And that's good, no? Hindi ko alam kung matutuwa ako o malulungkot ako na nagtatanong ng bata ngayon kung graded o hindi. Di po ba? No? If you are a teacher, ano ba feeling nun? Parang you will just do your best kapag graded. Pag hindi graded, would you call it learning?
No, sir.
Yes. There is no transfer of learning when you do that.
It's not
because
learning, yes.
the correct sign or the main sign of learning is changes in attitude.
It's true, I agree.
The changes in attitude is the best sign of learning. Okay? Yung pong pero pag ang bata nagtanong na ng ganun, kaya nga sabi ko, paano kayo sinasagot ng mga teacher? Para sa amin, ganun po dito. Pero sa Pilipinas, thank you, Ma'am Bing, for sharing that. Nakakatuwa, no? Nagtatanong na pala mga bata ngayon. So, grade conscious na sila. During our time, di naman tayo grade conscious because we're thinking about our future.
Mas lalo na kapag pilot section, talagang yung competent nila.
No? Yun po dapat ang mai-address natin sa bata. Kaya ako pag nagtatanong ang bata sa akin, especially science, sinasagot ko lang, it is not about if you're graded or not. It is about how you did your best. Okay? It is how you did your best on that particular. Because you're not just learning the concept, but you're learning the skills. So, ganun lang po ang pagsagot ko. Tatahimik na yung bata. Pero sa iba, sa math, tinatanong talaga nila. Kasi, siseryosohin pag hindi, wala na. Okay? So, thank you for that po. Okay, I hope I am giving you a clear view of paano po ba nagkakaiba yung prangka, sir. prangka agad. Hindi yung graded. Hindi makikinig ang bata sa'yo. Pag ganun. At saka, magiging wala pong, yun nga sinasabi ko, hindi po magiging valid yung ating assessment. Pag ganun. Okay po. Kaya usually pag nagbibigay ng diagnostic, standardized type talaga yung ginagamit natin sa diagnostic. We don't give we make a diagnostic test based on data of the previous years. Hindi yung 1 year lang. Kailangan yung pinaka main problem, especially math. Sa science wala namang problema, pero math talaga. In English as well. No? English as well. The main thing is subject-verb agreement. Talagang, yung talaga pinaka-focus, pero paulit-ulit, pero hindi talaga ng mga bata. Okay? So, thank you for that. That's number 6. Ma'am Bing, would you mind sharing your screen? Ayan, thank you po. Ayan, natutuwa po ako sa interaction natin. Mas nakakaano po yan. And if you have some questions or doubts on the explanation, pwede magtanong po kayo. Okay? Magtanong po kayo. Yes, Miss Bing. As I can see, I have, magaganda naman po yung score. May naka-double digit si Miss Matt. Yan. Yes, Miss Bing.
Yung aking, sir. Open ko lang po yung aking nearby. Number 6. You targeted that after instruction, your learners...
Share your screen po. Share your screen. Yeah, share your screen. Just click share screen pa. Yeah.
Saan po ba, sir? Click share screen lang po.
Opo, click share screen, then
tapos, sir,
it will pop up a window. Choose your window kung saan po nakikita nyo yung nearpad. Ayan, matututo po tayong gamitin ngayon yung Zoom. Ayan.
Nearpad.
Opo.
Ayan. Click ko lang po yung nearpad.
Yes, click nyo lang po. Then share. Then click share. Ayan.
Then share.
So again po, I emphasize, let us not just memorize the keywords, but understand how it is being applied in the question. Yan, okay.
Yan, sir.
Yes.
Nakita na po ba? Ayan.
Yes po. Okay.
You targeted that after instruction, your learner should be able to show their ability to solve problems with the speed and accuracy. You then designed a tool to measure this ability. What principle of assessment did you consider this situation?
Okay. So you targeted that after instruction, your learner should be able to show their ability to solve problems with speed and accuracy. You then design a tool to measure this ability. What principle of assessment did you consider in these situations? So, what is the stem of the question? Miss Kate.
Sir, for me, sir, assessment should be
What is the
based on...
stem of the question?
Sir. Ay, nawala yung screen, sir.
The stem of the question. Nawala. Miss Bing, nawala po daw yung screen. Okay. You can also see that in your screen po. Parehas na po yung mga screen natin, no? Okay po. Stem of the question. Please do read the question, and if you're going to underline, again, I say use underline, no, to identify the stem of the question. Ano ba yung tinatanong?
The stem, sir, is what principle of assessment did you consider in this situation?
Okay, that's the principle of assessment. Yes, that's correct. So yun po yung underline natin. So what would be the keywords that we are going to encircle? Miss Myrazol. Miss Myrazol. Yes, Miss Myrazol. Are you there po? Let me have Miss Mirazol. Miss Mirazol, ayan. Miss Mirazol.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes, good evening po. So what are the keywords or the parameters or conditions that you are going to encircle? So underline po natin, the main stem of the question is principle of assessment. Ayan. So
Learners should be able to show.
So meaning all of this is a principle of assessment. Lahat po ng options na yan ay principle of assessment. Are we clear po?
Yes.
Lahat po yan ay principle of assessment. And this is one thing that we should consider in the professional licensure exam. All of the options are said to be homogeneous. Okay? Homogeneous. What do we mean by homogeneous? They just pertain to certain topic. Hindi sila halo-halo. When we say principle of assessment, all of the options are principle of assessment. It is just up to you to weigh onto what certain principle is applicable to the situation. Hindi po katulad pag gumagawa tayo ng test, especially mga teachers, minsan, pagka wala na talagang options, gagawa ka ng sarili mo na lang talagang options. So, hindi nagiging homogeneous. Okay? So, all of the options in LET is homogeneous. So, kaya pag sumagot po tayo ng mga questions, sample questions, markahan na po natin, this question is all about principle of assessment. Then, pagka nagkamali tayo, alam natin kung ano yung babalikan natin at babasahin. Ano ba yung principle of assessment? Are we clear po? Para hindi natin babasahin lahat. Alam na natin kung ano sa mga lesson ng assessment. Very wide po kasi ang coverage ng assessment. Okay? So para alam na po natin kung ano ba yung babasahin natin. And the one that I prepared to you covers the different aspect or divisions of assessment. So this one is all about principle. So going back, Ms. Mirasol, ano po yung keywords na ating i-encircle dyan?
To solve problems with speed and accuracy.
Okay, to solve problems with speed and accuracy. Do you agree po? Give me a thumbs up. Give a thumbs up to Ms. Mirasol if you agree.
Target.
Sige, pwede pong tingnan mabuti. Yeah, pwede po tingnan mabuti.
I think you should be able to show their ability. Learners should be able to show their ability.
Okay, again, principle of assessment po. Then, the
Measure
one
the
that is
ability.
encircled according to Ma'am Mirasol is the ability to solve problems with speed and accuracy. Yan. Speed and accuracy. So what would be eliminated?
Speed, solve problems with speed and accuracy.
What will be eliminated? We will be eliminating
C.
Letter B.
letter B should be eliminated. Why letter B should be eliminated?
Sir, kasi po parang hindi siya connected dun sa pag sinabi ko yung sagot, sir, malalaman eh. Parang hindi siya connected dun sa objective nung answer. Question.
Yun talaga magiging sagot doon.
Yun na yung sagot ko. Ay, sagot din pala.
Yung po talaga magiging explanation doon, Miss Princess. Yung po talaga. Okay? Yung po talaga. So pagka teacher, if we have if we are education graduate, no, we will have now the idea about creating objectives. Okay? We have the idea now of creating objectives. So, ang una natin tatanggalin dyan is ano ba? Tanggalin natin wag nating tanggalin po yung wag po nating tanggalin ang letter B. Okay? Wag po nating tanggalin yung letter B.
Letter B is not an subjective.
Okay? Wag po natin tanggalin yung letter B. The two that will be eliminated is assessment should be reliable and assessment should be fair. Tanggalin po natin yun. Okay? Tanggalin po natin yun. As stated by Miss Princess, yun na nga. Yun nga lang, wag mo tatanggalin yung letter B. Pero sinabi niya na po yung sagot. Okay? So bakit ba hindi natin tatanggalin yung letter B? Basahin po natin yung letter B. Assessment should have a positive consequence on students' learning. So when we say positive consequence, what is that?
Kahit na mali yung student, we should assess them in a positive way.
Okay.
Not expected
When we say consequence, anong natin? Anong pagkakaintindi natin pag sinabing consequence?
Either punishment or reward.
The result. Yes.
Result of your action.
The result. Okay? So, I hope naintindihan nyo na bakit hindi natin tatanggalin yon. Because consequence talks about the result. And the questions clearly stated what is the target result. To show the ability to solve problems with speed and accuracy. Are we clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear with that? Okay? Now, bakit? I-weigh na natin siya. I-weigh na natin siya ngayon, ha? So, dalawang options. Possible answer. Assessment should have positive consequence on students' learning. Assessment should be based on clear and appropriate learning targets or objectives. So if you are going to weigh these two, are they related to each other?
Yes.
Are they related to each other?
Yes.
Yes. They are related to each other. Now, we will use now the second tip that I give you, leverage. Kaano kalapit si letter A doon sa tanong?
Because there's a target and objectives.
Okay, there is a target and an objective. It is not because you have the word target there, ha? Basta may keywords na targeted doon, kaya I will choose target. Hindi po ganun. Usually, naisip ko yung pag magawa yung mga
positive direction.
Oo, nakita ko, may targeted doon. Dito may nakalagay na target. Kaya, sige, eto na lang. Di ba? Huwag po ganun. Let us use the leveling, no? So, kung makikita natin, assessment should be based on clear. It is clearly stated what the teacher wants to really measure. that they be able to solve problem with speed and accuracy. There is a set.
May
Okay?
sinusundan.
There is a set. There is a set point. Okay? If we are education graduate ngayon kasi hindi na ginagamit. I don't know about lesson planning sa ibang ano. Dati kasi nilalagay pa natin yan eh. 85% with speed and accuracy.
Yes.
Can you remember that?
Yes.
Pag gumagawa tayo ng objectives, 3 objectives, cognitive, psychomotor, and affective, right? Nilalagay natin yan. So definitely your assessment should be on the ground. And that is primarily the first principle of assessment. Okay po? That is the first principle of assessment. There should be an appropriate and clear learning targets. Ano ba yung gusto mong targetin? Katulad ko po, when I started with you, did you see my first slide? I talk about the target competency. That at the end of this review, somehow, okay, I will not have it 85%, say maybe 80%, you will have that competency of applying the different principles when we talk about assessments. Are we clear po?
Yes.
Do we know about the different principles of assessment? Do we have a background po ba? O wala po tayo?
Meron, sir.
Meron po. Meron po. Okay. So the first, those who don't have, the first is that one. Okay, clarity and appropriate of learning targets. Second principle is the method that you will be using. Okay? The method that you will be using in order to be able to meet your target objectives. Sa dami ng mga strategies, teaching strategies and methods, hindi na natin alam kung ano yung gagawin. Even in the assessment, hindi natin alam kung paano natin i-assess. Paano natin mata-target yung gusto natin. Please do mute your microphone po. Maraming salamat po. Okay. The next is balance. The third principle is balance. Okay. An assessment should be able to target or have a balance between, katulad ng sinabi ko po kanina, the best measurement of learning is changes in attitude. Okay? So, it is not just here, but it includes the entirety of the individual, of the learners, cognitive, affective, and its psychomotor. That's why, in the K-12, ang pinopromote talaga nating assessment is performance-based. Okay? Because it targets the skills, it's target about the emotional aspect. Okay? Kasi minsan ang bata na-disappoint sa ginawa niya, and this is the where feedback gets in. More than the grades, feedback yung ano natin. Kaya pag K-12, pinag-uusapan lagi is feedback and performance-based assessment. Are we clear po? Are we clear with that po?
Yes, sir.
Next is validity. That's the fourth principle, validity. Then the fifth principle is reliability. And as I said kanina, tinanong, ano po ba yung difference with validity and reliability? When can we say that an assessment is valid? And when can we say that the assessment is reliable? Kasi pag sinabi natin valid, it can be reliable.
Valid po, sir.
Diba? Yes, go ahead, Miss Crisanta.
Valid po, sir, is measuring what is intended to measure po.
Okay.
And reliability po, sir, is yung consistency po ng grades.
Consistency of grades. So when we say reliability, you are doing the assessment on certain individual lang. Isa lang yung target mo na gusto mong makita. Are we clear? Are we clear po? While yung validity, sabi nga ni Ms. Crisanta, it is all about what? The intended. Ano ba yung gusto mong masukat? Okay? Ano ba yung gusto mong masukat? So, it is yung pinakakabuuan. Okay? While reliability is continuously monitoring this particular student or individual. Especially, halimbawa, yung kay Ms. Bing, na klase pilot section. O lahat ng yan magagaling, di po ba? Pero gusto mo pang masukat sino pang pinaka mas magaling sa kanila. Or have a continuous development or progress as the learning goes on. So yun doon po nagkakaroon ng pagkakaiba ang validity and reliability. Are we clear po? Inuulit-ulit mo siya. Okay, inuulit-ulit mo siya. Okay? So let's proceed to number 7. Okay. Sir Daryl, would you mind sharing your screen? Okay. Miss Salvacion, would you mind reading what is on the screen of Sir Daryl? Sir Daryl, yes, ayan. Okay. Miss Salvacion. Hello po. Miss Anne. Miss Anne? You're now number 7. Miss Anne? Miss Margie? Miss Margie?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please do read po.
Mrs. Lucrecia Casilag is planning to do an assessment of learning. Which of these should she include in her plan considering her purpose of assessment?
Okay.
A. How to design one's instruction. B. How to certify learners' achievement. C. How to determine the area of interest of learners. And D. How to give immediate feedback to students' strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so let's look at the question po. Okay, Mrs. Lucrecia Casilag is planning to do an assessment of learning. Which of these should she include in her plan considering her purpose of assessment? So what is the stem of the question? Let me call on. Yan. Pasensya na po kung tinatawag ko kayo ha. Kasi gusto ko lang po, yes, Miss Eliza. Miss Eliza, what is the stem of the question po for question number 7?
The stem of the question, the stem of this is which of these should she include in her plan considering her purpose of assessment?
Okay. She include in her plan considering the purpose of assessment. And what is the keyword that you need to encircle?
Plan
You
to
will
do.
have to.
Plan to do in assessment of learning. In assessment of learning.
Okay, the one to be encircled is what? Assessment of learning. Okay po. The one to be encircled is the assessment of learning. Okay? So that is the one that you will be encircling. Or if you want, is planning to do an assessment of learning. But the best is the assessment of learning. Okay po? So, assessment of learning. So, what we will be remembering about assessment of learning? Assessment of learning is done after instruction. Again, assessment of learning is done after instruction. Yan. Okay. So, with that definition in mind, let us apply the law of elimination. Assessment of learning is done after instruction. So, which of these 4 options does not answer that particular stem of question? Ano po yung tatanggalin natin?
A and C.
Letter C.
Yes, we will be removing letter A. Oh, tanggalin natin sa letter A. Why letter A?
Instruction.
Why letter
Because
A?
you are just
Before
going to
kasi,
assign instruction,
Na,
but in
Yes,
the question, you're
this
going to
that
plan an assessment
Four,
already.
sir.
yes, that is to design your instruction. So that when we say design, that is not after. That would be considered to be what?
Before.
Before.
before,
Okay? So tanggal si
before
A.
instruction.
Next, to be eliminated.
Yes.
Letter B.
Letter?
Letter B.
Who says letter B? Miss Kate. Yes, letter
C.
B.
Letters.
Oh, si Miss Kate
Oh,
muna
letter
po.
C.
Yeah, Miss Kate. Bakit po letter B?
What is it?
Letter C. Certifiers achievement. Pwede din pala siya. Kasi sa summative. So, C, sir. Area of interest of learners. Kasi before, sa instruction kasi yung C. So, before.
Okay. So, ayan, nagbago na yung isip kagad ni Miss Kate. Okay. Ano na siya, ayan, nireflect niya kagad. Yes, okay, that's it. So, we will be removing letter A and letter C. Are we clear po? Letter A and letter C.
Yes.
Now, we will
C.
going now to apply leveling or leverage. Sino ang mas malapit doon sa tanong at kung yung option bang yun ay under doon sa isa. It is talking about general and unspecific. Ito ba ay bahagi lang nito? O ito yung pinaka main root at ito ay just a substem. Okay? So, may iwan po si letter B at si letter D. Okay. So, kindly mute your microphone po. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Okay. Paki-mute lang po yung microphone. Maraming salamat po. Ayan. Okay. Let us now level. Let's have the leveling. So the answer here is how to give immediate feedback to student strengths and weaknesses. Okay. And how to certify learners' achievement. Saan po dyan ang pinaka mas malapit doon sa tanong?
Letter D.
Letter
D.
D. Letter D. Why letter D?
B.
Immediate feedback to the students.
You're giving already a feedback after the instruction to the students.
Okay.
Letter
Then
B.
yung letter B kasi.
B is certify learners.
Letter B. How to certify.
Kasi dun sa tanong may purpose.
The correct answer
Letter D.
is letter
Yung B para siyang evaluation.
Letter D.
Pag B kasi sir, ang
Letter B.
B.
gusto mo lang patunayan. Pero yung D, you give immediate feedback.
The correct answer is
D po.
Letter
letter
B, sir.
Letter D.
Yung D,
boy
pwede.
or dog. Boy or dog.
Boy.
Boy. Letter B.
Who says
D yung letter D.
Who says D? O sige, who says D?
Ako po, sir, letter D.
Okay, Sir Darrell, bakit po letter D? Ano po ang kanyang interpretation? Sige, go ahead.
Sir?
Go ahead. Ano po ang interpretation niyo? Bakit letter dog? Letter dog. Letter dog tuloy. Letter D as dog.
Kasi po binis ko po siya sa planning to do an assessment of learning. Hindi naman po sinabing assessment of learning is nasa after ka na agad. Pwedeng nasa during ka pa lang. Kaya po, nung after niya magbigay ng strength and weaknesses, tapos na yung assessment for, doon na po papasok yung assessment of, na binigyan niya ng, parang binigyan niya ng feedback or grades yung result from strength and weaknesses. Parang binigyan niya ng grades yung diagnostic test.
Okay. So, that's a good
Letter B.
interpretation. The correct answer po is letter B.
Yes, because it certifies learners' achievement. Certify means it is connected to the planning to do assessment, right?
Okay, the correct answer is letter B. Letter B. Why? Oh, meron paliwanag po si Miss Edlin. Tama po. Because feedback is a way of certifying.
Certifying, yes.
And when we say assessment of learning, ulitin natin, assessment of learning is after, di po ba? So, an example of assessment is feedback. We can give feedback. But it is not just feedback that we can give. We can give grades. We can give ribbons. We can give rewards, di ba? So, those are different way. Yun lang, nag-concentrate tayo doon sa feedback. So, hindi natin naisip na pag sinabi nating certify, there are different ways of certifying kung hanggang saan ba yung nalaman ng bata.
Yes.
Di ba? Yun.
Because the word certify.
Hindi po mali yung hindi po mali yung paliwanag mo, Sir Darrell. Tama po 'yun. Yung po sasabi natin, nagkakaiba lang po tayo sa interpretation. So ito po yung tinatawag nating leveling. Letter D is actually just simply under letter B. Because feedback is a way of certifying learners' achievement. Okay po ba? So yan po yung isa na naman, ayon talaga natin. Ito yung laging sinasabi. Yung dalawang may iwan na sagot are always connected to each other. You need to weigh sinong mas mabigat sa dalawa. In a situation. Kasi dito, nag-focus lang tayo, feedback. Are we clear po? But this is planning. And feedback is not always the only way we can give an assessment of learning. Grades is assessment of learning. Tama po ba? Okay? Okay po ba? Clear po ba tayo? So,
yes,
tama
sir.
Yung pinagpipilian natin, B or D.
Yes,
Yung nga
sir.
lang, yung pagle-level lang natin. Okay. So, tingnan natin. This one is under this one. So, I will go this one. Why? Because feedback is a way of certifying. Okay? So, let's proceed to question number 8. Okay. Question number 8. Would you mind reading po, Sir Gian? Sir Gian?
In the context of the theory of multiple intelligence, which of the following is considered the weakness of the traditional paper-pencil test?
Okay.
A, it lacks reliability. B, it utilizes so much time. C, it is not easy to administer. D, it puts non-linguistically intelligent at a disadvantage.
Okay. So, what is the stem of the question, Miss Juby?
The weakness of using the paper pencil test.
Okay, very good. It is about the weakness of the traditional paper and pencil test. And what is the keywords that we need to consider about the stem or the stem of the question? Miss Ethel Rose.
Theory of multiple intelligence.
Come again?
Theory of multiple intelligence.
Okay, theory of multiple intelligence. Alam po natin yung theory of multiple intelligence?
Yep.
Yep. Who is the
Yes,
proponent
sir.
of the theory of multiple
Howard
intelligence?
Gardner.
Howard
Howard
Gardner.
Gardner. Yes, very good. Okay? So, tandaan po
Yes,
natin yung
sir.
mga taong yan. Pero wag po nating tandaan lang yung pangalan. Okay? Huwag natin tandaan yung pangalan. Tandaan natin yung pinaka-theory nila and how it is being applied. Okay? Now, theory of multiple intelligence by Gardner, Bloom's taxonomy. Yan. Okay? Maslow. All of these are always about assessment and zone of proximal development. Okay? Zone of proximal development. Sino proponent ng zone of proximal development?
Vygotsky.
Vygotsky. Yan. Okay. K-12 assessment applies zone of proximal development by Vygotsky. Okay po. Yung po ang kinonsider ng K-12 in the different assessment. It is all about the zone of proximal development ni Vygotsky. So I hope you're taking down notes of that. Kasi ito po yung most probably na mga pwedeng maitanong. Okay? Yan si Vygotsky, hindi mawawala yan. Si Howard Gardner, hindi mawawala. Okay po. Si Maslow, okay? Because there is actually a move that is Maslow before
Hierarchy of
Bloom's.
needs.
Yeah, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because there is a move in this current situation that Maslow before Bloom's. Are you aware of that? Maslow before Bloom's. Okay? So ito yung pinaka inaano ngayon in this time of pandemic and when we talk about in education. Maslow before Bloom's. That's why we always talk about resiliency. We always talk about resiliency even in education, because they are really advocating Maslow before Bloom's. So let's go back to this question. So if we know about the theory of multiple intelligence, then it talks about the individual. Every individual has its own, okay, form of multiple intelligence. So what would be the weakness of that? Anong i-eliminate muna natin dyan? Let's eliminate before the answer. I know you will have the answers already in mind. But let us eliminate first. Anong tatanggalin ko? Miss Pabilan?
Eliminate letter A. No.
It lacks reliability. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think we need to eliminate that?
No,
Because
don't eliminate.
Why we need to eliminate that?
traditional paper pencil.
Does the group agree that we eliminate it lacks reliability? The traditional paper pencil
Yes,
test?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's not directly connected to the STEM.
Okay.
Sir, because we're not talking about the principles of assessment.
Yes.
The content.
We are not talking about the principles of assessment. Okay. So that's a good interpretation. Actually, the options, the correct answer is very clear already. As I said, the question itself, if you're able to identify the stem of the question itself will give you the answer right away.
Multiple intelligence.
Okay? So when we talk about multiple intelligence, if I know the different multiple intelligence, nakita ko na yung keywords eh. Nakita ko na yung keywords.
Letter D is the answer.
Diba? Nakita ko na yung keywords. Pero nakita ko sa mga sagot natin dito, ilan lang yung nakakuha. Okay? So, medyo ano pa. So here, the correct answer is it puts non-linguistically intelligent at a disadvantage. Okay? Because this is one type of intelligence. Are we clear? Now, yung reliability as stated by Miss Princess, it is not about, this question is not about the principle of assessment. Okay? But this A and D should be the one to be kept. Okay? This two should be the one to be removed. It utilizes so much time. It is not easy to administer. Okay? We remove that. Why we have this? Because it is traditional, meaning we keep on doing that. We keep on doing that because it is considered to be reliable. Are we clear po? Are we clear po?
Sir.
Okay, for example,
Yes, sir.
my best example here is the window card in math. Do you know the window card in math?
Yes, sir.
Have you experienced that?
Yes, sir.
Sana magkakaedad lang tayo, ha? Sana magkakaedad lang tayo, baka hindi. Ay, si Sir Albert, hindi. Yung window card po, yung butas-butas,
Yes, sir.
yung may add,
May
subtract,
butas, may sagot,
divide.
may, yes.
Yan. Di ba, in every math time, laging pinapasagutan yun.
Yes, sir.
Di ba, una muna, walang oras, tapos eventually, pababa. So that is considered to be a traditional paper pencil test. But it is used as an assessment. Are we clear po? So that is about reliability. Do not talk about, kasi inisip natin sa reliability is about the different method. Okay, yung mga methods natin, yung equivalent form, split half, yung mga naiisip natin. No? Yun yung mga naiisip natin. Okay, portfolio. How about portfolio? Portfolio, Sir Albert, is authentic assessment. Okay, it is authentic assessment. Are we clear po? I hope that is clear to us kung bakit hindi na etong dalawang to ang may matatanggal natin. Okay? Okay po ba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Pag hindi sumagot kasi hindi tayo makaka-proceed, assessment po 'yan. Okay? Okay po ba?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Yes po.
Let's move on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move on. So number 8, the answer is linguistic. Okay?
Yes po.
Oh, eto na. Konektado po dun sa kanina yan. Okay? So let's have Miss, sino na pang hindi ko pa naririnig? Miss, Sir Mike. Sir Mike? Sir Mike? Okay po ba? Wala. Jomar. Jomar? Jomar? Miss Marie. Si Miss Marie. Miss Marie. Yes, Jomar. Jomar. Sige po. Sige po.
Sir?
Yes, pakibasa po yung tanong, sir. Pasensya na po kung tinatawag ko lahat kayo, ha.
Okay lang, sir. Okay lang.
Sige po. Sir Jomar. Sige po.
Okay. Miss Anna wants to determine if the learner's score in their final test is reliable. However, she has only one. Sorry, sir, hindi klaro.
However, she has only one set.
Okay. However, she has only one set of tests and her learners are already on vacation. What test of reliability she can employ? Okay, letter A, equivalent forms. B, Cooder-Richardson method. C, test, retest. Letter D, test, retest with equivalent forms.
Okay. So let us identify the stem of the question. Okay. Miss Alba wants to determine if the learner's scores in their final test is reliable. However, she has only one set of tests and her learners are already on vacation. So what test of reliability she can employ or she can use? So what is the stem of the question? Miss Richelle. Miss Richelle?
Sir, ano po? Reliability. Reliability. Test of reliability po.
Identify the stem of the question po based on the question itself. Not the concept. Not the concept under assessment. You're right. That is about reliability. That is principle of assessment. But I want you to identify the stem of the question.
The learner scores.
That tells you that it is reliability. What is the stem of the question that tells you that it is all about reliability?
The learner scores in the final test.
The learner scores in their final test?
Yes po.
Okay, let me ask you, ma'am, what do you understand with the principle of reliability? Why you choose that as your stem of question?
Gusto po kasi malaman kung ano yung, para ma-determine po, kung ano yung mga set ng question po ng learners po.
Okay. How about Miss Maria Teresa? How about Miss Maria Teresa? What is the stem of the question? According to nakalimutan ko pa. Sorry po. It is all about the learner scores in their final test. Do you agree that that is the stem of the question? Okay po. So, sorry po. Okay lang po. Okay lang po. Sorry din po, Miss Maria Teresa. Nabila.
Yes, sir.
Yes, would you mind, Madam, identifying the stem of the question on this question number 9? What is the stem of the question?
The test of reliability she can employ.
Okay. The test of reliability that she can employ. Okay. The test of reliability. How about Miss Marivic? Do you agree? Sir Mike is raising. Yes, Sir Mike. Go ahead. Yes, Sir Mike.
To determine if the learner's score in their final test is reliable.
Okay, to determine if the learner's score in their final test is reliable. That's correct. Okay. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. And there's another one. Meron pa pong isa. Meron pa pong isa.
Yes. One only set of tests.
Let me have Miss Joyce. Yes, Miss Joyce.
Yes, sir. Answer O. She has only one set of tests and her learners are already on vacation.
Okay.
What?
That is actually the condition set. That is the condition set.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first is the one that was answered by Sir Mike. That is the learner score in their final test. But it is reliable and
The reliability.
yes, the reliability. The test of reliability. Okay po. Okay. Nabigay na po kanina nung isa. Tinanong ko lang po ulit para makita po natin kung nandito pa po tayo, no? So please bear with me po kung medyo nagkakaroon tayo ng interaction. Okay? Kasi gusto ko pong na-assess talaga kasi nga we're talking about assessment. So that is the way to how to identify. So the first is the learner score in their final test is reliable. Miss Abo wants to determine. And The other one is the test of reliability. But there is a condition set that will guide you right away to be able to identify the correct answer. If you know the different methods of the under the principle of reliability. And what is that condition or parameter set? What is the condition or parameter set? She has
Only one set.
only
Only
one
one
set of tests.
test.
Okay?
And
She
her
has only
learners.
one set of tests and her learners
Her
are
learners
already
are already on
on
vacation.
vacation. So you might be asking, sir, possible pa yun? Possible pa ba yun na matest ang reliability? Kahit nakabakasyon na at isa lang yung nagamit kong test? Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's possible.
Yes. If
Possible.
It's possible.
equivalent.
Okay, it's possible. Okay, so all of the options are actually methods of reliability. Equivalent forms, Coder-Richardson method, test-retest with equivalent forms. And the other one is the split half. No, if you know about that, the split half. Okay, so we have identified already those things that will guide us. Let us now eliminate. What should be eliminated?
C and D.
We will be eliminating
Letter C.
letter C.
Letter A.
Equivalent forms po.
Okay, let's have one by one and why. Let's have one by one and why po. Okay? So, who says letter C?
Me, sir.
Okay. May nag-annotate. Sige, sino po yun? Sige po, please unmute your microphone.
Ako po, sir.
Sige po, go ahead. Please do explain your
Kasi
interpretation.
sir, hindi mo na po sila mapapag-retake ng test kasi nga nakabakasyon na po yung mga bata.
Correct. Test-retest as itself is being done twice. Okay? Test-retest is being done twice with the same learners. Okay po ba? So, definitely, hindi na siya pwedeng maging sagot. Okay? Because of the what? That is the condition set. Test-retest is done twice with the same learners. At sinabi na ng condition that her learners are already on vacation. So, pwede pa ba niyang bigyan ng pangalawang beses? Hindi na. Are we clear po? So, we remove test-retest. Ano pa po? Ano pa po?
Equivalent forms.
Equivalent
Forms.
forms? Bakit po equivalent forms?
Kasi po hindi na sila pwedeng mag-exam ulit kasi nga po nasa vacation na sila.
Okay. Equivalent forms pertains to what? Equivalent. When we say equivalent, ilan?
Or to the score, sir.
When we say equivalent, ilan? Equivalent. Equivalent.
Same score.
Talks about the result, sir.
Okay,
Same score.
talks about the
Result po.
result. Okay, talks about the result.
Equivalent forms.
Equivalent.
Dalawa. Same questionnaire pero
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Same paper.
same set ng
Parehas
questionnaire.
lahat.
Okay, parallel forms. So, okay? So, equivalent forms will be removed. Sabi nila kasi because it is considering to be talking about parallel forms. So, dalawa. Ilan lang po ba yung test niya? Ilan po? Isa lang. Okay. Tanggal na. O, may iwan na ngayon. Is dalawa. Coder-Richardson and test-retest with equivalent forms. Tinanggal mo na yung test-retest at saka equivalent forms.
Letter B ang tamang
letter
sagot.
B ang tamang sagot na. Are we clear po?
Tama ako. Yes. Letter B.
Yes.
Okay po ba? Alam po ba natin tong
I
mga
got it. Yes,
May I,
Alam po ba na,
may I ask, sir, what is Fuller-Richardson method?
okay,
Manila.
Finding for reliable.
Curder-Richardson is the measure of internal consistency.
Of responses.
Okay, it is the measure of internal consistency and it is only given once. Okay,
I
it is
agree.
only given once. So,
Yes, yes.
it is only given once. So, it is more of, kada method po, when we talk about methods, okay, they are different, they have different descriptions. So, how are we going to have to review for that? Okay? How are we going to review for that? Again, tanong ko po. Una, alam po ba natin itong mga method na to? Alam po ba natin yung mga method na yan? Yes or no po?
Masyado, sir.
Not familiar.
Not familiar. Okay. No.
Tapos
Okay.
yung
No. Don't worry po. I'll be giving you a simplified way of understanding it, no? Okay. I will just give it to teacher A. So, pagka nagbasa po tayo ng method, ganito po ang hahanapin natin. Since it is a method, it is under the principle of reliability. So, pag binasa po natin yung method, marami po yan. Hindi pa kasama yung split half, which is the commonly that is being used. Okay? Hanapin po natin, ano po bang reliability ang kanyang sinusukat? Okay? Anong type of reliability ang kanyang sinusukat? Is that about its internal consistency, how consistent? Is that about the equivalence of it? Or it is the measure of stability and equivalence? Or it is just a measure of internal consistency? May dalawang method na parehas pong sinusukat. Okay? Now, paano natin malalaman? Malalaman po natin siya on how it is executed. How it is done. So, the procedure. How it is done. So, if you're going to read about the principle of reliability questions, if you're going to try to answer questions, and you're able to identify that this is about principle of reliability, try to identify right away to the question how it is executed. Okay po? How it is executed. Paano siya ginawa? How it is being done. Then, since we're talking about reliability, ano ang mga sample na statistical measurement or measures na ginagamit? Are we familiar with person-row correlation? Person-row coefficient correlation?
No.
Sperman row? Sperman row? Hindi rin po?
Hindi rin po.
O sige, don't worry po, don't worry. KR21. Sa mga education graduate, KR21, Sperman row, person correlation coefficient. Ito po yung common kasi ito po yung ginagamit natin sa item analysis. To be able to see if our test questions are valid and reliable. So don't worry po, magbibigay po ako ng handouts in a simplified form. Okay po? Na mas madali niyong mag-grasp, mas madali niyong nag-grasp yung pagkakaiba ng mga methods na to. Kasi pag binasa po natin yan, ang dami at ang haba. So, kailangan po natin matuto ng, are you familiar with retrieval chart?
No, sir.
Yung mga graphic organizer po. Okay, ganito po.
Yes.
Okay, yung retrieval chart po or graphic organizers, ito po pag nagbabasa tayo ng mga libro, halimbawa, types of reliability methods. Okay po, types of reliability methods. Gagawan po natin siya ng table. Tapos titingnan natin kung ano yung kanilang ina-identify or dinidescribe. Yung po yung tinatawag natin retrieval chart. We retrieve the information. Kahit gaano kahaba yun, ito yung sinasabi niya. For example, description of the method. Next is procedure of the method. Then, statistical treatment of the method. Yun. Ganun po yung retrieval chart. Para madali natin siyang matandaan at ma-memorize. Are we clear po?
Like bone circle.
Fishbone method is usually used for cause effect. Okay, cause effect ang fishbone, no? At eto po mga tanong na ganyan, yung mga graphic organizer, lumalabas din po yan sa let. Kailan gagamitin ang fishbone? Kailan gagamitin ang
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram? Yan. Kailan gagamitin ang semantic webbing? Because these are the tools that are being advocated in the K-12.
Yes,
Because why? One of the skills in the K-12 is note-taking. Note-taking is a skill. Pag sinabi nating note-taking, pag sinabi ng teacher, copy, ang ginagawa ng bata, kung ano yung nasa slide, kinokopya talaga natin. Ngayon, hindi na natin kinokopya, pinipicturean na lang natin. Screenshot na lang, ano? Nag-screenshot na lang tayo. So, yung note-taking, it means that kahit gaano kahaba yung pinakita ng teacher, you're just going to write down ano yung naintindihan mo. That's why note-taking is a skills. So while you are reading, during your free time, nagsusulat ka rin po. Okay? Nagsusulat ka rin po. Halimbawa, nag-answer ka ng tanong. Huwag mo lang pong alamin yung tamang sagot, but rather, look at it. Saan ko ba mahanap? Okay po ba? Saan ko ba siya mahanap? So in that way, nag-a-assess ka rin ng, that is what we call self-assessment. Okay? That is self-assessment. Na, okay, ready na ako. When can you say that you are 100% ready? Sige nga po. When can you say that I am 100% ready to take the board exam? Would answering 50 questions every day would tell me that I am ready?
No.
No. No. Okay. So, it is not just answering the questions, but rather understanding the pattern of the questions.
Yes.
Okay? Bakit po? Ano po bang tawag natin sa ginagawa natin? Review. Review. Ano po ba ibig sabihin ng review? View. Ano po ba ibig sabihin ng re? Pag kinonek sa isang salita, again. View, again. Ibig sabihin, meron na po tayong alam, babalikan lang natin kasi it is not anymore presented in a theory, in a principle, but rather it is now presented in a situation. Ito po ang nagpapahirap sa Prof Ed. To tell you honestly. Okay po? To tell you honestly, bakit napakahirap ng Prof Ed? Kasi situational. Nasanay po tayo usually doon sa identification type na definition lang, yun na. Tama po ba ako? Tama po ba ako?
Yes.
So yun po yung tatanggalin natin sa atin. So why I ask you to answer 50 questions, hindi para padamihin yung sasagutin mo, but to be able to see the pattern. Ano yung madalas itanong? Okay? And this is one thing na medyo ring na ano tayo pag nagre-review. Minsan pag nagre-review tayo kung ano yung questions na nakita natin, yun na lang yung tatatak sa isip natin. So hindi po ganun. Kapag nakita po natin yung question na yun, maghahanap din tayo ng kanyang equivalent questions. For example, these questions that I give you. Okay? What other equivalent questions meron to sa mga references? Try to use Google Scholar. Marami pong ano doon. Okay? Mga sample of assessment questions. Huwag lang po tayong gumamit ng Google. You can use Google Scholar. Okay po. Naintindihan po ako. Yung 50 question is for you to what? Familiarize the pattern. Kasi pattern lang po ng pagtatanong ang board exam. Para magets natin siya. I hope that that would help you. I hope that would help you po. Okay po ba? Okay po ba?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Yes,
sir.
So, una po, na-tip ko sa inyo is Law of Elimination. That is the best way because when you eliminate, you identify the question. You comprehensively. Okay? Yun yung sinasabi kanina, sir. Yung tips for comprehension. tips for comprehension is finding what is really being identified or described by that certain principle or theories. Ganun po. Kasi ang haba po kasi pag nagbabasa tayo, even when we are in school, ang haba ng mga binabasa natin sa book. Puro example yun. And most of those example, hindi na magiging applicable in a real life situation. Nagets po ako. So, kailangan natin malaman paano ba ito may apply, how it would be applied. And assessment, again, binabalikan ko, is a very wide. This is 25%. 25% ang sakop ng assessment sa question sa board exam. Okay? 25% po ang sakop niya. Dahil napakalawak niya. Because learning is not possible by simply instruction. Kailangan mo ring masuri kung may natututunan ba. Kaya may assessment of learning, may assessment for learning, and may assessment as learning. Are we clear po? Are we clear po?
Yes, sir.
O, pasensya na po kung medyo madaldal si sir, ha? Pasensya na po kung medyo madaldal si sir kasi ini-emphasize ko po talaga sa inyo para matulungan ko kayo. Okay? So let's proceed to question number 10. So question number 10, maraming pula. Hindi ako nakita. So tingnan natin. Okay. So this is again assessment. Kate, would you mind reading it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Isidro wants to test learners' knowledge of the different places in the Philippines, their capital, and their products, and so he gave his learners an essay test. If you were the teacher, will you do the same?
Okay. So if you will be the teacher, so as I said, so most of the questions in Prof Ed, maliban lang po sa measurement and evaluation, more on theories siya. Bihira yung situational, pero pag assessment, situational talaga siya. Okay? So, if you will be the teacher, will you do the same? So, let's identify the stem of the question. What is the stem of the question? Sir Gio. Hindi ko pa nakutawag si Sir Gio. Sir Gio. Is Sir Gio around? Wala po. Miss Roxanne, would you mind?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Would you mind to
Hello.
identify the stem of the question?
Okay, sir. The stem of the question is, for me, the learner's knowledge of the different places in the Philippines, their capital, and their products.
Okay. How about Sir Janjan? Sir Janjan, how about you? Ano po ang stem of questions? What is the stem of the question in this question? Sir Janjan? Sir Jan? Kaninang microphone po yun? May feedback? Please mute po. Please mute. Okay, salamat. Okay. Miss Ella. O, si Miss Ella na lang po. Actually, this question clearly tells you the answer already. Yes. Go ahead, Miss. What is the stem of the question?
The stem of the question is, if you were the teacher, will you do the same?
Okay. If you will be the teacher, will you do the same? Okay. So in the scope of assessment, ano bang target ng question na to? In the scope of assessment, ano po ba yung target nito?
Knowledge of
It is under what? It is under what? Principles. Okay? It is under principle. Principle of assessment po yan. So what principle of assessment is being tackled by this question?
Validity.
Validity? Why you say validity po?
Sir, di ba pag validity, it measures what is supposed
To be
to be measured. Ayun,
yes.
sir. So dito, sir, kasi clearly naman, parang common sense na lang yung sagot. Alam naman.
Yes.
Pag nabasa mo pa lang yung question, parang alam mo na agad yung sagot. Eh. Kasi hindi po
Yes.
connected yung ibang choices.
Yes, kaya po sinabi ko kanina, makikita na po natin kaagad, pagka inanalyze natin yung tanong, makikita na natin kaagad yung sagot. Okay? Pero based on the data that I have, no, medyo nakita ko na marami pa rin nagkamali. So you put yourself as the teacher. And your target is what? To measure, to assess, not to measure, the knowledge of the different places in the Philippines, their capital, and their product. So this teacher give an essay test. Karapat dapat bang essay ang gamitin niyang form of assessment?
No.
No.
No, sir.
No. Diba? It is no. So lahat ng yes, tanggal.
Yeah, A and C.
Okay? Lahat ng yes is tanggal. Pero nakita ko, lahat halos ng sagot is yes, no? So, okay lang yon, mas maganda po yon. So again, the question itself will give you the answer. So no, o, dalawang daw maiiwan. No such method of assessment is inappropriate because essay is difficult. Letter D, no. The giving of objective test is more appropriate than the use of essay. So, anong pinaka mas mabigat na sagot sa dalawang no?
D.
D.
That is letter D.
Letter D, sir.
No.
Why?
The giving.
Because we are not, letter B talks about no, and the reason behind is that, yes, it is inappropriate, tama. Okay? Inappropriate siya. Pero yung reason niya, justification niya is because essay is difficult.
Yeah.
Diba? So, as you said, using the common sense, using pero pagka nakita na kasi natin yung word na inappropriate, at alam natin dito sa question na to na inappropriate nga yung essay, we tend to jump right away. Are we clear with that? Because of our instinct, nakita natin yung question, okay, sabi nga ni kanina, common sense. Ang ano niya is knowledge of different places. Nagbigay siya ng essay. Inappropriate siya. Then nakita mo ngayon sa options, dahil sa nagmamadali ka na o wala ng oras, nakita mo yung word na inappropriate, yun na nasa isip mo. Kaya na isagot mo na lang yung letter B. I hope you can get my point. I hope you can get my point, no? So, tama,
Yes, sir.
but the justification. Okay, the justification that the essay is difficult. So, kaya, hindi siya pwedeng maging sagot. The correct answer is no. The giving of objective test is more appropriate than the use of essay test. Are we clear po? So, objective test, alam naman po natin yung objective test kung ano yan. No? Multiple choice, yan. Identification. Yun. So, that is the best kasi you are just measuring the knowledge. What is that? That is just what? Memorizing. Remembering. Yan. It's just memorizing or remembering. Okay? So, I think kaya nasagot ng iba na letter A. Again, ilagay po natin yung sarili natin na tayo ay teacher. Ganun lang po. Okay, let's proceed to question number 11. Oh, it's almost time siguro. Let's just finish this po, no? And I will be giving to Sir A the different yung nakita ko pong kailangan kong ibigay sa inyo at idagdag sa inyong pag-aaral. Okay po? Para matulungan po kayo. Okay? That's why I just give you analyzing test questions kasi ito po talaga ang mahirap sa Prof Ed. Okay po? Ito po talaga ang mahirap sa Prof Ed. Sakit sa ulo kasi ang haba ng tanong. Ang haba ng sinasabi, ito lang yung stem ng question. So, wag po tayong mapagod sa pagbasa ng tanong. Okay po? So let's
Yes,
just finish
sir.
question number 11. Question number 11. So the correct answer is no. So again, is common sense to. Common sense doon po kasi nga inappropriate. Pero may word kasi inappropriate kaya minsan nakakapag-jump tayo kagad doon. So let's have question number 11. What type of validity does the pre-board examination possess if its result can explain how the students will likely perform in their licensure examination? So type of validity. So validity is one of the principle. And under the principle of assessment, validity is one of that. And under validity, it has its different characteristics. So all of these are the characteristic or type of validity. So ano ang stem of the question?
Explain
It talks about the type of
What
validity.
type of validity does
Okay,
the pre-board examination possess?
The type of validity the pre-board examination possess. And what to be encircled?
Explain how the
students will likely perform in their licensure exam. Very good. So, what is the keyword that will guide you here? Anong tatanggalin muna natin? Let's eliminate 2. Anong eliminate natin?
Content and construct.
Again?
Content and construct.
Content and construct. Why content and construct? Which that is actually correct, pero gusto ko lang po malaman bakit content and construct. I want to know the interpretation po. Bakit po content and construct? Sige po. Go ahead po. Don't hesitate po. Sir, Ma'am, Miss Crisanta, you want to answer? Sige po, go ahead. Do you agree po content and construct?
Ako naka-answer. God.
No, wala. Okay. So again, this type of question, if we know already the difference between these 4, okay, it would be easy for us to identify. So this is actually, madaming tama dito. This is predictive. Okay? It is predictive because of the what keywords? Nasa tanong na kagad. Results? That is what? Likely.
Likely po, likely.
Likely.
From pre-board examination.
Okay, the likely. So likely tends to be what? A prediction of what would be your performance. Are we clear po? Are we clear po?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sir.
That's why pre-board examination in some centers pag nagre-review they just give they actually just give a mock exam. Are you aware of that? They just give mock exam.
Yes, sir.
Nagpapa-mock exam lang sila. And from the mock exam, nakikita na natin yung ito yung mga kalalabasan. And I hope pag nagma-mock exam, ine-explain na rin right away, no? Minsan kasi puro mock exam lang, hindi po na i-explain. Kaya medyo nalilito din tayo. And that's why assessment is again before, during, and after. Are we clear po? And as I can see, medyo nagkakaroon na tayo ng malinaw. I hope tama po yung aking pagkaka-assess. Nagiging malinaw na po yung pag-identify natin sa questions. Kasi nakikita ko na yung tumatawa na tayo na, ayan, yun dapat ang sagot ko, pero pinalitan ko. Diba? So,
Yes, sir.
yun po yung weighing. Yun po yung weighing. No? Yun po yung weighing. At yun po yung sinabi ko sa mga nagre-review, pag nagre-review dito sa Saudi Arabia. Yan ang nagpapahirap kasi hindi siya katulad ng test sa classroom na alam mo na kagad kung ano yung sagot kasi yung iba mga basta-basta lang na options na inilagay. Well, dito talagang lahat is possible answer. Are we clear po? So, para matapos po, I will go to question number 12. So predictive po yan. Anyway, I will be giving you all lectures. Then I will be giving you an exam. Okay po. Hindi ko muna kayo bibigyan ng exam ngayon. Bibigyan ko kayo ng lectures. Then bibigay ko kay Sir A yung exam. Then titingnan ko po yung ano nyo dahil baka may session pa po tayo kasi very wide po ang assessment. Are we clear po?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So number 12. If a teacher has set objectives in all domains or learning targets and which could be assessed using single performance tasks, what criterion in selecting tasks should she consider? So ito po yung pagkakaano na tayo ng performance-based assessment. So ano ang ano natin? So anong tatanggalin natin dito? Dalawa is obviously teachability.
C and D.
Tanggalin na natin yung teachability. Tanggalin natin yung fairness.
Multiple pause. Fairness.
A and D.
Ang tatanggalin po natin is A and
D.
D. Okay po? Ang maiiwan is generalizability or generalization and multiple foci or multiple focus. So, ano po ang sagot dyan? Set of objectives in all domains using a single performance task. So, it talks about generalizing, targeting everything, di ba? So, you will be talking about generalization, pero more than generalization, you are actually aiming to target multiple focus. Are we clear po? So the criterion that you are going to choose is multiple foci or multiple focus. So ito rin po yung ano natin na pinapalitan minsan. Minsan sa school siguro ang gamit is multiple focus o sa mga book. Then pagdating sa exam na babago na, nagiging multiple foci. Parehas lang po silang dalawa.
Kaya pala.
Are we clear po? Tama ba ako, Sir Darrell?
Nagdadalawang isip po ako kanina pa.
Opo, kasi alam ko pagdating sa mga ano, ang gamit dito is multiple focus. Okay?
Yun pala yun.
Yun po yun. Okay? Parang katulad lang po ng sinasabi ko sa mga estudyante ko. Nung ganitong grade kayo, etong gamit na term.
Akala ko iba.
Nung pumunta ka sa ibang level, iba na naman ang term na ginamit. Kaya sinasabi nga, did you encounter this when you were in this grade? Sabi ng bata. Hindi po. Pero pag present na, this is just the same with this. Ay, ganun po ba?
Not well familiar, sir.
Yan. Oh. Yun lang po. So, don't worry po. Lahat po ng mga na pwede kong itulong sa inyo ay ibibigay ko na po. We just have limited time. Mahaba po kasi talaga to. Okay? And I don't want to give lectures kasi baka maboard kayo sa lecture lang. No? Kasi yung lecture po, pwede nyo namang, you can have it by your own self. Pwede nyo basahin. Hindi po ba? Pero mas maganda po yung meron tayong analyzing, interaction. So again, I hope naging okay po sa inyo yung aking pamamaraan ng pagre-review sa inyo.
Yes, sir.
Okay po. Pwede po ba akong humingi ng konting assessment of learning? Okay? Assessment of learning. Your feedback. No? Your feedback po bago po tayo matapos. Okay? Be honest po. Okay po? Para po maano natin. So number 13. Tapusin po natin, then give me some feedback. Kahit ano pong gusto niyo at ano pa po ang gusto niyong malaman at itutulong po natin sa inyo. Okay, this one is about portfolio. Principle of using portfolio. So you give the freedom to the learners to have their own creativity, and that is the main thing why you are asking them to have a portfolio. But when you have a portfolio, you always have the target, what you want to see. Okay? Sinasabi mo sa bata kung anong gusto mong makita. For example, I want to see your quizzes.
Learning principle.
Okay? I want to see your quizzes. I want to see your projects. I want to see your artworks. Kasi minsan, ang portfolio, nagmumukha siyang artworks dahil sa dami ng creativity ginagawa ng bata. Tama po? O di nawawala na yung tinatawag nating the objective of portfolio. Ang portfolio sa teacher, ano ba yun sa teacher? Yun yung pahirap sa public school eh. Yung tinatawag natin, ano ba yun? Sino po ba nagtuturo? RPMS? Tama po ba yun?
Yes.
RPMS, no? Tama po ba ako ng ginamit na term? RPMS? Yung kada lahat ng ginagawa nyo, from the observation, from the di ba? Nagpapasalamat po kami kasi dito sa amin, wala kaming RPMS. Kaya, pero meron po kaming ibang way ng evaluation. Yung mga naman namin from mga collections lang. Pero sa Pilipinas nakakatuwa kasi merong RPMS na sinasabi nating dagdag lang, di ba? Dagdag lang po sa dagdag lang sa papel na sabi ng mga kasama kong teacher sa Pilipinas, dagdag na papel na susunugin. O itatambak. Siguro naman di pa itatambak yun. Kasi pag ginamit po na talaga natin na portfolio, makikita natin kung saan pa natin ba tutulungan yung teacher. Kung saan pa natin sila tutulungan. Kasi ang daming pinapagawa sa teacher, pero basta lang basta may magawa lang basta may papagawa lang. So, yun nga po, kaya po sa masters namin, ang kinuha ko is curriculum development and supervision. Kasi yun nga ang natin. Yung sinasabi namin lagi, ang mahirap sa Pilipinas, wala tayong talagang sariling curriculum. Wala po tayong real identity curriculum na sinasabi. Kuha lang po tayo ng kuha sa ibang bansa. And sometimes, it is not applicable to us. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yung po totoo, at sinabi naman din po yan ni Dewey, no? That the teacher is not like a soldier that should always follow. Okay? The teacher should be an instrument of change. But you can only be an instrument of change when you have enough data to support your claim. So that's why assessment is really an important component of being a teacher. Okay po ba? So, doon ko po tatapusin yung aking short review to you, and I hope po ay nakatulong po ako sa inyo somehow. I know medyo hindi ganong kalaki na itulong ko, pero I hope somehow sa susunod pa natin pagkikita is mas marami pa po tayong tatargetin. Okay po? So, can I ask for some evaluation